All right, welcome back. This is Two Cent with two cents on mobile gaming, and I would just like to come at you guys and just do an account showcase for Echoes of Mana. The game's been out a little over a week. We're coming in onto I believe the ninth login day for the game, and I just wanted to take you through and show what a rank 26 account looks like, at least for me, and then you can tell me how your account matches up to that, whether or not you're above me in rank, below me in rank, or the same rank there. Just I want to show you where my progression is, and just so you can get a feel for where you're at compared to maybe other people out there. Things that you might be able to pick up some tips and tricks along the way, or you might be able to tell me that hey, you're doing something wrong, or you can fix this or that. I think as a community, that's what it's good for. Is it's good to have these videos out there for people to be able to see what they can learn, but also to teach other people who might be down in the comment section with a better idea. So here, let's get into this, and let's just start off with showcasing my current parties. Okay, so I do two things. I actually keep my main highest level, or most powerful party in party two, and I'll tell you why. Uh, I've been using party one and my subs to level up to be able to get fodder to unlock units to 5 stars. And I cannot tell you how many times I have wasted my energy by hitting, to go on a quest with the wrong party on. And so I ended up, when my main group was all on party one, it's the default party that would come up, when you relaunch the game or anything like that. And maybe even the last, time I was playing, I was like, oh, I'm farming, I'll be fine. And I just click, 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 or, tap, tap, tap on screen. And then there I am. I'm like, oh man, I just wasted, loads of experience that I could have been for my subs. So I got tired of that. So here, it's not a huge tip, but just if you're making leveling parties, put that as party one. It's your default. It's fine. And then when you are actually going to do progression, then you can it normally is where you're going to manual anyway, and you'll give it a little more forethought and be able to change your team up. So that's one little tip for you right there. So here's my main party. What I've been doing is, I've been working specifically on my main 3 units, and I'm at that point where I'm actually pretty close to finish with all of those, those 3 units. So, Reese here, obviously, the Spear Waifu, I was very lucky of getting duplicates of her, and was able to get her to +6. And man, she has just been a phenomenal carry for my account. She's got, a little over 1700 attack there, but also I've made her pretty tanky too, at least against physical damage with that 1400 constitution there. And I'll tell you what, I think one of the best cards to have on here is this skill damage up card. Because I cannot tell you how much I spam that ability when we're in these high-end progression boss fights, where you get behind them, you wait for them to do a move so you don't have to dodge, because it does take a little while to do that. But then you just have a nice window there to get like 1 or 2 in. Then you wait, you just auto attack, dodge, they come back in, pop them again with another 1 or 2 of these, and it just tears down that the boss's HP while also building your combos up, effectively increasing the damage of you and your party. I really like this card. I wish I had duplicates of it. I want to, if they ever have banners that come out with cards or something like that, this might be something I might actually, if it was right up, try to pull to get a couple more on. So if we look back over here to the party, just hit back here. Let's look at the gear. So what I've been doing primarily with my account now is I'm using all my yellow energy to farm the very hard last stage in Chapter 5, the extra quest. And that's what's giving me Oak Series. If you look, it's either Oak or Holly series, and it's decided by chapter. So chapter 4 gives the Holly series, where chapter 5 gives the Oak series. But only in very hard chapter 5 is where you can get 5 stars artifacts of these. And so I opted to say, hey, you know what? I'll take the little bit of mana over being a little more tanky, and I'm just going to search for the subs that I want to make up that difference, to get the extra stats from it, being able to level it up an additional 4 levels, and get the extra bonus from the 5-star equipment. And part of the reason I've done it this way instead of farming I believe it's Wiseman with the blue energy, is because I've been focusing that on the other armor pieces here on the left hand side, because you can't get those in 5-star rarity from using your yellow energy. So it's been blue energy for the left side, yellow energy for the right side. Once I kit everybody out, then I'll look to go back and maybe farm some different areas to try to get more specific sets that I think might benefit each of the individuals just a little bit nicer. So I actually went with the strength set on her. I definitely think that as you're manually playing, you get to know your characters, you get to know the fights, and sure, you might, in a progression fight, you might die the first 10 times you play it. But then you get the hang of the things that you can dodge versus not dodge, and then at that point, it's just a matter of killing the boss as fast as you can to beat the timer for one, or to beat being able to sustain against that boss. So I went with the strength build because she's the unit that I am manually playing majority of the time, and I think it's worked out really well for me. Granted, I've got some nice defensive subs in this gear too, and it is by no means the most optimal subs on these, but it was the first 3 that I think pieces that were decent that went together, and I'm gonna got those leveled up. Like I said, I will go back once I get my entire 6 units kitted out on gear, and then go back and micromanage to try and make the ones that I want to improve on. It's going to be a ton of gear farming, and they're likely to come out with different sets with different bonuses as we go on. We know that in the kind of roadmap they gave us, it talked about armor dungeon somewhere in there. I don't know if that's going to be new sets or if they're just going to have a new way of of getting the current sets. We'll have to wait and see and find that out then. But this is what I'm doing for now, and I think it's really working. So if you just kind of look through here, I'm mostly searching for percentage stats that are strength, constitution, spirit, and then also looking for luck. Luck is very good in this game. It really increases that damage out there. Unfortunately, we don't have the numbers behind that of exactly how much luck equivalates to percentage of crit chance, or if certain units start with a base amount of crit chance versus others. I don't have that information. It would be cool if we can figure that out in the future. I'm sure maybe some data miners or people smarter than me might already have some more insight in that area that I haven't seen yet. So, like I said, the only set that I have here on the right-hand side for all my units right now is the Oak set. And you can see I've done pretty good at finding the percent stats and the tanky stats. If anything, she's a little bit lacking in the strength percent stats, which is another reason why that 18% from her set bonus here is actually really going a long way to helping her in that regard. So I think she's doing great. Pretty excited about that, and I don't want to go in depth on every single one, but she's the one that I have the most kitted out. So let's just take a brief look at the rest of these. I'm trying to get them all up to 5 stars, the units I want, and my strategy is to drew one of each element, because I definitely seen where in the floor 70 of the tower, being able to do that, it was much easier for me. I was able to do it so much quicker than other folks because of how strong my wind unit was and how strong my earth unit was, and that elemental advantage, I think, really makes a difference. So, um, working on one, getting one of each element super strong will help you in multiple ways. You're going to pick up a lot of extra mats for mana board, so it'll overall reduce a little bit of farming for you there. But then you'll always be able to have an element that you can switch to and have on your team for when you're looking at progressing content that might have a weakness to that particular element. So that's what I've been doing there. Um, so if you see here, I was able to pick up the Chrism Wizard. So he's one of the I spent the last day since I got him. He's just been in my party, soaking up the XP. I've had all melee physical units basically. The only one that is able to use any intellect at all is Sumo with his heal. So I actually had quite a bit of like healing stuff as far as intellect stuff that was just sitting around, so without an owner. So he's got a set here on him. This is going to get leveled after I'm finished with my main three. Um, Once again, we're going to have a Constitution set on him, obviously because the Strength is going to work. But some of these sets might get replaced later on when they introduce better set effects for them. Let's bounce around here also and move on to just memory gems in general. I have some maxed here. They're mostly the 4-star ones. What I find is that the 4-star ones, even at their base, I find are better than even the 3-star ones that are at 4 unleashed. And I'll show you at least one example of what I'm talking about here. And that's with the one I put on the Chrism Wizard. This guy here, it's the plus 15 every 10 seconds while inactive. I think this is great. I think this is a must-have for any time that you're using, you know, a ranged, squishy mage. So this Angela, that when they run out, they're gonna have to like run in and beat them to get the that replenish that back. I don't think that's a good idea to bother with. Take this guy, put him as in your slot 1 or whatever with the 2 units that you're primarily going to want to manual, and then bring him out, do all your fireballs and everything. When he starts getting low on MP, switch him out, manual with the other person while this sits back and regenerates it. I think that's how you play mage, and you get around all of these different sort of complaints about how the AI is super bad and runs in and dies and they're squishy. I think to me this is just the easy way to work around that. But okay, you have this card here, and I'll tell you what what I really like about this one, and my other comparison is not fully leveled, but I'll show you why. I think it's this guy right here. Okay. So this is also 15 at fully unleashed, so the active is the same, right? But if you notice, like, it doesn't have any MP on here, and it doesn't get any MP at 40 either. So for my mage, I'll be able to use 1 or 2 more attacks in that. So it's probably a no-brainer for most people. The fact that, yeah, if you have a 4-star, it's probably better than a 3-star, but I thought it was just kind of strange a little bit of that. A 3-star max unleash was still not quite where I'd want it to be to take the place of just a 4-star at its base. So take that as you will. Yeah, different cards might be a little different there, but that's kind of what I've noticed so far. So let's just look at my base allies here for you as well, and as you look here, you can kind of see what I was talking about with the different elements. We got wind, earth, fire, light. Then we have the 2 free units that are kind of doubled up with that. I'm not sure if I'm going to go any further with them. I don't think they're bad units, but I definitely want to fill out the 1 of each element first. Same thing with that Randy there. I'm glad we got these 3 units for free, and I think the reason that they focused on giving us these units for free is, wind is something in that level 70 tower fight that's super useful to have, And so here they're basically saying, here's 2 free wind units that you can get to full, max unleashed level 100. And I think this is just their way of saying it's doable. Here you go. Here's the tools to go and do it. Now I'm not going to go out there and say people who have leveled it and or leveled these 2 and not been able to complete that, or that they're somehow bad or anything like that, because obviously I specifically haven't done it with those 2 units. But I think that's the idea behind it. Now we have Shiloh here. I haven't actually used him in combat, but I did get a dupe of him, and I've just leveled him. He's going to be one of the ones I'm going to work on next. So my order right now was Rice. She's done. And then I'm going to finish up Durin's armor. It just needs to go from, I think, plus 16 to plus 20. And then he'll be done. Their manor boards, you level those up as you go, at least for your first 3, and it just makes it so much easier. And I just kept those at cap all the way through. And now what I'm doing is with my blue energy, I am working on Chrism Wizards, but his is almost done too, and then I'll go back to farming my armor stage. But then I'll finish off Sumo's armor, which I think is sitting around plus 16 as well. And then I'm going to go work on Chrism Wizard and then Shiloh. They're going to be my next kind of 2 that I'm going to work on with this. We have a whole month, and I don't know when we're getting another banner. Another banner would be great to kind of see, but we just don't know when it's going to be, so I don't want to go too crazy and level a bunch of different units because I want to be able to save some resources, but I also want to make sure I get at least one of every element in there. So that's what I'm working on. As far as water, I haven't picked a water unit here. If anybody has used any of these water units, these 3 stars, and you have one that you would recommend, please let me know. That way I can take a look at that and possibly choose that for mine. Obviously for what the moon and the dryad or whatever ones, I think there's only one in each of those, so I will eventually get to those. I haven't really found that having a healer is super necessary. And when I do need a little spot heal, Sumo's been enough, even as the AI, to kind of like help me out enough. But then, just manually switching to him and spot healing has been helpful enough for me as well to not merit me having to level another specific healer. I know people are really liking Charlotte out there and a couple of the others, so that might come in the future where we get more consistent AoE damage that needs to be mitigated, or unavoidable damage, and obviously we'll have to take a look at that there. So we've kind of went over that. Just looking over gear, just for briefly. I don't keep anything that's not 5-star gear, and eventually I'll have to start narrowing down and getting rid of some of this 5-star gear as well. But you can see I've got a whole slew of them max there, and then working on the rest of them. That's real quick there. Let's just take a real quick gander here over at Tower. So it did take a lot for me to beat Tower, this floor. It's floor 70. I think I did it in like 2 minutes and 5 seconds, which is relatively quick. It's just I think I lost most of my units. I think I was left at the end there with just Rise and the person who was on her backup, which at that point all of my sub units were like 3k and were worthless, and they just died as soon as they came out. So, but it is doable. It's way easier when you have Durand or Rise or both, especially. I've seen some heartbreaking clears that are like, within like the last 10 seconds, and then they realize that they needed to be to S rank it to be able to get the Chrism Wizard materials, and then they're looking at needing to shave like a whole 50 seconds or a minute off that time, and they're just trying to figure out how they can do that with the damage dealers they have. So anyways, I don't want this video to get too long, but I just wanted to show you guys kind of where I'm at, what I'm kind of doing. I have cleared all of the main story, so you see all that. I got all that. And then I've been able to clear these all through here. The gear dungeons, I actually don't even run these in co-op anymore. I just run these on manual. That way I get the benefit of the XP rather than only getting it for my my front 3 units. I can get them for all 6. So that's kind of where I'm at on that. Let me know if you're doing something a little bit different than I am, or something that you might recommend, especially a water unit that you might recommend out of those 3 stars there. And thank you, everybody. That's been my 2 cents. And before you go, please like and subscribe. This is a new channel that I am trying to start up, and I would just appreciate you to come along with that journey with me. Thank you.